Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, if you've been following me the last few months, you know that I've been talking a lot about the ketogenic diet and talking about how you could benefit from a very high fat, low carbohydrate, moderate protein diet. How it can help you. It can help you to put on muscle, to think better, to raise your testosterone levels, to basically everything that you've ever heard about a ketogenic diet before that. I'm pretty much saying the opposite and saying that it was positive. On the other hand, I don't want you to think that I'm proselytizing for any one particular diet choice, and I don't want you to think or believe that I'm trying to impose my views on you. My point here is not to inspire you to follow me. I don't want you to follow me. What I want you to do is to go out and make your own decisions. I want them to be educated decisions. So I want you to go out and do your own research, to do your own reading, and I want you to hear both sides of everything. You may come back and say, screw that, I'm going to be a high carb vegan. And awesome. If that is you and that's what you want for your life and it works for you, then that is amazing. And that's what I'm trying to get across here. I don't want you to just follow me or follow anyone else. Inspiration is masturbation. And a lot of you guys are masturbating all day long here on YouTube. So educate as much as you can, right? Educate yourself as much as you can. So I'm going to go over a bunch of different downsides of the ketogenic diet today. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the potential negative effects. And this is a big one. And for those of you who are thinking about getting into a ketogenic diet, you should watch this, but you should really go and read the blog attached to this video. And I'll put the link for that below in the description box. I'm not going to go into too much detail into these because I don't want this to be a 10-minute video, but everything is on the blog. So the first thing is high triglycerides. And the way this comes about is because a lot of people, when they do a high fat diet, they think, okay, I need fat. I got to get fat where I can. And when you do that, as with anything, with protein, with carbohydrates, you go after some really potentially bad sources. And some of those bad sources involve plant-based oils. So I'm talking about safflower oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, corn oil, and heated coconut and olive oils. What happens is most of these plant-based oils, in order to be processed, have to be exposed to significant amount of heat and really high temperatures. And so that causes them to oxidize. And so when you eat them, a bunch of free radicals go into your bloodstream, and these free radicals can cause a lot of damage to your heart and all your other tissues. So you increase your risk of injury, and you increase your risk of getting fat, and you increase your risk of having a heart attack. And so maybe if you've been eating a lot of roasted nuts and nut butters and plant-based oils, you may be getting aches and pains all over your body, and that's probably why. So what do I recommend here? Avoiding roasted nuts, roasted nut butters, and plant oils, avoiding coconut and olive oil that have been previously heated, and instead opting for cold pressed coconut and olive oil. So it should say cold pressed on the label. And that goes for whether you're doing a high fat diet or not, because I know a lot of you still use coconut oil and olive oil and other oils to cook your foods. So just watch out for that, because that could put a real wrench in your fitness pursuits and your health. Number two is cholesterol and inflammation. So if you're doing a high fat diet, you're going to get high cholesterol no matter what. The problem here is if cholesterol and inflammation are present. So there's a test you can get called a C-reactive protein. And this test measures your levels of total body chronic inflammation. And if you have a level of 0.5 or higher, a high fat diet may not be the best option for you. And you could get this test from your doctor or any medical facility. So what do you do here? Well, C-reactive protein comes about by living an unhealthy lifestyle, or maybe an an unhealthy, healthy lifestyle, we should say. So an unhealthy lifestyle is, you don't want to be smoking, drinking, doing massive amounts of drugs or anything like that. But you also don't want to be over exercising or overtraining and doing a ketogenic diet. So most of you watching this probably aren't to the point where you are overtraining. Most of you are probably going to the gym 45 minutes to an hour every day or 4 days a week. But a lot of triathletes, for example, who run a shit ton of miles, do like these death march runs, like 15 miles or more, or they're running like 20 or 20 24 hours a week. That's something that could lead to a really high C-reactive protein. But it's also possible from lifting weights. So a lot of you CrossFitters out there, and even a lot of you bodybuilders who do a lot of these crazy 3 workouts a day programs or 2 workout a day programs, you got to watch out for this and pay attention to the signs and get your blood tested regularly. The third thing you really got to watch out for is sugar. And the reason why sugar is so bad here is that in the presence of high cholesterol, again, cholesterol binds to the sugar or glucose molecule. And when it does that, it can't be processed by the liver. And because it can't be processed by the liver, then you have this cholesterol continuously floating through your bloodstream. And so it stays there in the bloodstream for a longer time. And the longer time that cholesterol is in the bloodstream, it has a greater chance of becoming oxidized and causing damage to your cells. And so you really want to avoid taking, if you're doing a keto diet, you really want to avoid having that slice of cake at night. You really want to avoid eating a candy bar at night or a chocolate bar, or having alcohol or a glass of a bottle of wine or anything like that. You can have a glass of red wine, but like I said, keep it moderate. Fruit is actually okay, again, in moderation, but you won't necessarily stay in ketosis. But for those of you who are following a high-fat diet for other purposes, again, fruit's not going to kill you, but again, you need to look at it with moderation. If you're eating 30 apples a day or 50 bananas a day or something like that in the presence of a high-fat diet, it's not necessarily a good thing. If you're a high-carb vegan, on the other hand, yeah, that's okay. But if you're doing it while eating a lot of fat, regardless of those fat sources, you really are putting your health at risk. And finally, thyroid. And this is a real big one for the ladies, but also for guys who are trying to lean out. And the way this comes about is in order to be converted from inactive thyroid hormone to active thyroid hormone, your thyroid needs carbohydrates. And so what happens is your thyroid stimulating hormone keeps getting, or TSH, keeps getting released, and what you find is a high level of TSH in the bloodstream. And so the way to avoid this is, one, don't do those like 2-3 hour cardio sessions, doing the death march on the treadmill or anything like that. Avoid overtraining, of course, again. And you can take foods that are rich in selenium. So if you're on a high-fat diet, then Brazil nuts are a really good choice. Eat lots of green leafy vegetables, and don't count them to toward your carbohydrate levels. They don't release any insulin, and there's barely any carbs in them anyways. And then if you are a very active person and you are of a low body fat percentage, you can probably have some carbs at the end of the day, probably up to 50 grams at the end of the day after your workout, and remain in ketosis. And that's where a cyclical ketogenic diet would come in handy. And that'll help you to continue to get lean and help you to build muscle. So that was just some points I wanted to get across to you, because again, there are upsides and downsides to everything, and we need to approach this all objectively, and you need to make your own decisions about your fitness. I'm getting into some more of this stuff on the Mastermind Training Group, and you can find links to that on the site next to this blog. Otherwise, if you've got questions for me, hit me up. I'm looking to do another Ask Chris episode probably tomorrow. So hit me up on Instagram, hit me up here on YouTube, and I hope you guys are all having a happy and healthy holiday season. Peace.